Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be answering the age-old question, how far can my torpedo go and still hit a target? Now, that sounds like kind of an obvious sort of thing, depending on what you've done in previous videos, especially if you played plenty of Silent Hunter, you have a pretty good idea of roughly how far a torpedo can travel. But it actually is a complicated geometrical problem, and I don't think that's a word, but I just used it anyway. So we're going to go ahead and grab our victory here. Now, we're creeping up on an American Knox ship here, and what we want to do is we want to strike it with one of these brand new Physic 1 torpedoes. Now, the Physic 1 is a really cool torpedo. It has two big things that it does well. You'll notice that it has a cruise speed of 70 knots for 11 miles, and it has a slow speed, this is a kinematic range they call it, for 30 knots. It certainly isn't a Mark 48 as far as range goes, but 70 knots is an awful lot of speed. Now, if I scroll down here, you'll also notice that when we're cruising at full speed here, we're using 4.66 fuel points per second. If you do the math on that, I think it's like 9 minutes of fuel time, if you want to think about it. And of course, if you're doing cruise, kind of chilling here, we get these kind of low speed sort of stuff here. So you're looking here at our scenario going, we want to go ahead and strike that target. So I'm going to click this one, and you'll notice they're at a range of about 10 miles for us. And you're sitting here going, all right, go ahead and press that Shift F1. Let's blast that sucker. So I click on it, and you will observe the fact that this weapon will not fire. The reason it won't fire is because it's outside of its DLZ range, a dynamic launch zone. You're like, bah, I say, bah, it should work anyway. So you say, okay, then, let me make sure my WRA settings are set correctly. Let's see here, torpedo range. Use kinematic range for torpedoes, manual fire only. Interesting, it's already been preset to allow us to do that. And it still says it's outside of the DLZ range. That's because you have an interesting little math problem here. If we take a shot at a target that is less than 11 miles away, we're going to be using 70 knots. But that also means that my effective range of my torpedo is exactly 11 miles. Now, if you do the math on that real quick, let me go ahead and pop that right here. This is the maximum range of the torpedo, meaning if this ship crosses past this point in the time it takes the torpedo, keep in mind, it's about 9-minute travel time, by the way. In the time it takes to get here, this guy automatically wins because he just outran the torpedo because the torpedo would run out of fuel before it gets to him. Start to see why this gets a little complicated. So you're like, fine, it's a Knox class. Its top speed is only 27 knots. I'm going to take the long-range shot. Okay, let's see. Long range says we get 22 nautical miles. I'll go right here. Now, you're sitting here going, this math problem just got a lot harder. If I take a shot at the maximum speed of the torpedo, he gets from here to here, I miss. If I take a shot at the minimum speed of my torpedo, he gets from here to here. That's a whole 11 nautical miles he gets to travel before my torpedo will get to him, assuming he goes flank speed as soon as he picks up the incoming torpedo. So you're sitting here doing the math in your head going, yeah, there's no way he could get that far away from me in that time, except that he can. Let me show you why. Let's think for a second here that he detects our torpedo launch immediately and spins up to 27 knots. Our torpedo, which is traveling 30 knots, is now chasing it down. As a matter of fact, we can even demonstrate this. Let's go ahead and do a bearing-only launch here. I'll go ahead and pop one of these things off, and it will do a great little demonstration for me as it comes ripping. That is an interesting problem because that means for every 27 nautical miles this travels, this one travels 30 nautical miles, meaning over the course of an entire hour, I only travel 3 nautical miles farther than this target. So you're going, uh-oh, I know what that means. Yeah, exactly. That means my effective chase speed is 3 knots. If you want to see the math on that real quickly, 30 knots for the torpedo minus 27 knots for the target is 3 knots. That's it. That's the only speed difference I have on the target, which means it's going to be chasing this guy down effectively at this speed. Now, it gets really, really interesting here because the fact is you can actually see my target starting to turn. Smart target, by the way. That means he has to travel this distance in that time. So let's see here. 11 nautical miles. You can do the math immediately in your head. 11 nautical miles. But keep in mind, we're only going to gain 3 nautical miles over the course of 1 hour, which means our effective distance that we have to travel is about there in that amount of time, and we will basically have outrun our torpedo, just to give you a visual for how far and how long it's actually going to take to track this thing down. Now, the interesting thing here, as you'll point out as well, is by the time the target gets to about here, right about where my mouse is, this torpedo is just going to be running out of room, which is, like I said, kind of interesting. To demonstrate this, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to grab the other side here. I'm going to go ahead and set the entire side to blind because you gotta see this to believe this. Like I said, once you see it, you'll know exactly what I mean. So I'm going to set them to blind. They can't see anything. I'm going to go ahead and unassign. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go flank speed. That way you can actually see it side by side. Now watch this. Watch this. Watch how disappointing this is. All right. So here we go. I don't want you dodging. You are not allowed to dodge. Let me go ahead and drop all my targets here because I want to demonstrate this beautifully. Now get up. Unassign. You're not allowed. F3. Go, 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 go. Maximum speed. Go, 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 go. All right. Watch this. Watch this. Go the other way. Now check it out. Check it out. Check it out. So this target is now being chased down by a torpedo. This torpedo here is doing 70 knots. It was fired at its high speed. Now watch this. This will put a smile on your face. So this thing is going to travel this far from the ranged target, but watch what happens to our friend the torpedo here. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Watch this. Watch this. Targeting, targeting, scanning, 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 scanning. As you can see, our torpedo completely ran out of fuel, just like I told you it would. Now, look at how embarrassing this part is. You thought that was silly? Watch how silly this is. So I'm going to go ahead and now put on my God's eye view again. I'll go ahead and set up the shot. Let's go do, what do we say? I think we started at about 10. Boop. Let's put him right there. Watch this. So you're going to be like, okay, let's see the long range shot. You just go ahead and embarrass us. Okay. Long range shot. Here we go. Bam. Did I launch a missile? Oh, that was embarrassing. I don't know. It's just exciting. It's the first thing I saw on the list. All right, fire. So now we're firing the same torpedo. And like I said before, we're going to be firing at the low speed. We're only going to be doing 30 knots. All right, watch this. This is, look at how sad this is. Go, torpedo, go, go, go. See, actually, we got a little more range out of it than it was advertised. I'm actually kind of excited about that. But look at this. Oh, and it ran out of fuel. So what is the practical takeaway from this? The practical takeaway is this. If you are going to be taking a shot at a target, what you need to do is you need to know how fast that target can go, which again, since you identified already, should be pretty easy. You need to know exactly how far it can travel in the difference in time for it. Let's go ahead and reset our scenario and actually run a practical example here. Now that you kind of get the gist, let's go take a look at it. So we're going to take a shot and we're going to do a tail shot at something that's probably cannot run from us. So we'll go ahead and do, we'll do 11 miles. We'll do 11 and a half miles away. Looks good to me. I'm going to go ahead and do a cargo ship here, something nice and slow. Panamax. We'll do Panamax here. Actually, we'll do Panamax. We'll do Panamax. That's fine. All right. That's good for me. Let's go. That's okay. Of course, here's the joke. One hit will not do any damage to this thing. That's fine. All right. So we'll point him this way like this. We're going to put him up to flank speed, and we'll work out the example directly. All right. Unpause. Now, of course, it's going to take a half a second for everybody to like detect stuff. Hey, there he is. Of course, I made a boo-boo there because he's right next to me. Go away. All right, let's get that. What did I say, about 11 miles? There we go, all fixed. All right, so let's do it. So we have our shot now. And again, well, we can actually be kind of fun here. We can come up to periscope depth and like not feel self-conscious about it. I'm actually going to kick my speed up a little bit here. You would never periscope depth and cruise speed because you'd leave this massive feather in the water. It'd be very obvious where you are. But I'm an idiot and I know I can get away with this, so I'm going to get away with it. I'm going to pop up to the surface and take a look around with my scope. Look at that. There he is. Just looking at him through my little periscope here. Feeling pretty confident. I'm probably reading off his serial number right now, getting ready. All right, let's do it. So we're going to go ahead and take a shot. And as you probably would guess, if I do Shift F1 right now and click on him, I am still, well, I've got another 5 seconds before I can take the shot. Take the shot. Come on, torpedo crews. I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting on you. All right, let's try that again. You'll notice I can actually take the shot now. And the game is smart enough to know that because I'm in that range, and because that target is moving as slow as it is, it can probably get to the target in time here. But keep in mind, I am going to be firing at that lovely, basically 20 knot speed there. But we're going to do it anyway, because this is going to be a great demonstration of math in action here. Fire! Okay, so this target is traveling 4 knots. The top speed on this one, I believe. Let's get the top speed here. 4 knots, so grab this one. What do we get? Because he's going to be running 16 knots. Delightful. So that means, let's do the math as this thing's on its way. Whoop! 30 knot torpedo minus a 16 knot target is an effective speed of 14 knots. 14 knots is pretty handy there. So that means my chase here is actually going to be taking place at 14 knots, not at 30 knots, of course. So all we have to do now is work out how long is it going to take to cover this distance. So if I measure that again real quick, that's 11 nautical miles. So let's see here, 11 nautical miles at 14 knots. That's, oh my goodness. That's 47 minutes. Oh, that is a very long time. But like I said, that's part of the fun. So it's going to take 47 minutes for our target to actually hit the two weapons because it's a tail chase here. So looking up what time it is 9:31. We can do the math on that real quick. 31 and 41. Mod 60 is going to be, oh boy, that's 10. Oh my goodness, minus 60. Yeah, that's going to be 12 after. Oh my goodness. So that's, yeah, so it's going to be basically 12 after 10 o'clock by the time this torpedo gets to the target. Don't believe me? Watch. He's running. You're sitting there looking at the watch. You're looking at your stopwatch now, and I'm looking at my stopwatch, and we're both getting panicky on each other going, who's going to be right here? Look at how long this takes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now you're going to get mad at me. You're going to get mad at me. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Wham! So you're mad at me and you're saying, but you said it was going to be 12 minutes past the hour hot shot. Why is it 4 minutes past the hour? The reason's actually really simple. If you notice my target, it took a left turn and started running left on the torpedo, which created a little bit of a geometrical challenge for it, which actually reduced the distance between the torpedo and the target, which actually made it easier and saved me 6 minutes. So as you can see, torpedoes are not nearly as effective as you expected them to be in range, which is one of the reasons why they list a lot of those torpedo ranges as basically an effective range. Again, your effective range is so much less than your real range, and you could see that in action. Now, I know you're dying to see me do it again and actually get it at 12 minutes, but that was some pretty quick back of the envelope / Windows calculator math that demonstrated beautifully. Now, here's kind of a fun thing. Did you notice how far we just traveled to get to where we went? Let me see if I can turn this on real quick. I don't know if it's going to track that. Let's see here. Unit trails. Oh, see it because they didn't have trails on before. You can't see it. But keep in mind, in that time, we traveled that far. And it gives you an idea of how insane these kinds of shots are and just how incredibly powerful modern torpedo batteries are to be able to hold on to a chase that long. Now, the cool thing here is you're going, hey, this is kind of cool. Yeah, here's the fun part. This works with missiles too, but that's for another day. Enjoy.